Hi, this is Brian Kim. I'm going to share with you case number 62 in the best way to do cataract surgery series. This is a small pupil, also a floppy iris situation, IFIS situation. So you're going to see double chop, cross chop, and mechanical fracturing, and how I systematically disassemble this lens. So I'm using a cotton tip to hold the eye, and then marking the central cornea from my rexus, holding the eye with a cotton tip to make my paracentesis incisions, first on the right side and the left side now. I want to make my incision flat to the iris plane so I can have a nice corneal shelf, which will allow me to have a self-sealing corneal incision. Asking the patient to look down. I'm injecting some intracameral lidocaine and then some intracameral dispersive viscoelastic. At this point, I don't sense that there is IFIS, and so go ahead and start my triplanar corneal incision. I make a vertical groove, place the blade into the deep part of the groove, tunnel through the cornea, and using the cannula to hold the eye, I turn it towards me and then enter into the eye. I use the cannula to control the eye during this maneuver. So this is my puncture style rexus. I go in with the forceps with the teeth sideways. I puncture, pull down, grab the right side of the tear to create a flap, and I go around circumferentially. I'm grabbing and re-grabbing as I go, but as I'm making my rexus, I notice that the iris is very, very floppy. I try to get away with it and do the capsular fornix hydrodissection technique. And as I get my fluid wave, I can see that the iris starts to come out. I tried to decompress the eye and then go again, but you can see that didn't work and the iris came to the wound again. So I decompress and come out. I go ahead and inject intracameral epinephrine around the pupillary edge and around the iris. And again, you can inject intracameral epinephrine anytime during the case, even when the eye is filled with some viscoelastic. And as I do this, you can see that this causes the pupil to get nice and round and stiffen up. And now I'm going to go back and try to do my hydrodissection. This is a capsular fornix hydrodissection technique. I place the cannula around the contralateral capsular fornix. I go ahead and try to decompress and then start to spin the lens. And with some effort, it finally starts to spin. Irrigating the surface of the cornea, lifting the incision and going in with irrigation off to minimize Descemet's trauma. I'm going to remove the surface epinuclear material, place the chopper underneath the epinuclear ridge out to the capsular fornix, turn the phaco tip vertically subincisionally, bringing both instruments together, crushing the lens in half. This is double chop. Place the chopper around the right heminucleus, pulling it centrally towards the phaco tip, crushing the right heminucleus in half, and that's the cross chop. I use the chopper to pull that first quadrant up out of the bag and emulsify the lens piece. I place the chopper around the second quadrant, pulling it up out of the bag and emulsifying the lens piece. I'm using the chopper to very carefully and gingerly rotate the second heminucleus in front, place the chopper around the lens, pulling it centrally, crushing and dividing the second heminucleus, and then I'm beginning to start to emulsify that third quadrant. So you can see this is a fairly soft lens. Use a little bit of high vacuum to grasp that fourth quadrant. It comes out pretty easily. So I'm now removing the epinuclear material, grabbing the anterior component of the epinucleus, using the chopper to lift the subincisional area of the epinucleus up, and then the epinucleus tumbles out. I take the chopper out, push BSS in, take the phaco tip out, and put the INA handpiece in. I start subincisionally removing the cortical material. And I want to make sure I grasp the anterior component of the cortex. And so I use high vacuum so I can remove all that cortical material pretty easily there. Whenever the pupil is smaller, I do worry about zonules and weak zonules, so you want to be very careful when you're polishing side to side, when you're not able to visualize the tip. But I can see there's quite a bit of wispy lens material, so I didn't switch the polish mode until I was sure that lens material was removed. So I switched to the polish mode, and now I'm starting subincisionally removing some of the adherent cortical wispy material in the subincisional area. Some of that material can be quite sticky, so I'm very carefully just teasing it off the posterior capsule. Once I'm satisfied, I'm going to place a BSS cannula through a paracentesis incision and pulse the subincisional capsular fornix. And as I do this, you can see there's some of that cortical wispy material that starts to come out, and I was able to take it out with the INA handpiece. This wispy material in particular is very difficult to remove, and I feel like these maneuvers have really made this much easier to get that stuff out of there. So go ahead and inject the capsular bag with cohesive viscoelastic. Then I start to polish underneath the anterior capsule with the sweep, first on the left side and then the right side. This is actually a very high-powered lens, and so because of this, I'm going to widen the incision with my blade, and then I'm injecting the single-piece acrylic intraocular lens into the capsular bag, the leading part of it in the bag, the trailing part out. I go in with irrigation off, and then go underneath the lens, tilting it up, and then rotating it 90 degrees clockwise, and then removing the viscoelastic from within the bag. I place the Maltzman through the paracentesis incision with a little bit of difficulty, and I'm using that to retract the pupil edge to make sure that both haptics are in the bag, which they are. Remove all the viscoelastic from within the bag. Reposit the lens back into the bag. I'm turning the haptics in a more horizontal position. And then I remove all the viscoelastic from the anterior chamber now. I saw some fine material between the posterior capsule and the lens, so I switched to the polish mode to remove that material. I push BSS into the angle to make sure there's no viscoelastic trapped in the angle, and then I hydrate my incision. So again, this is a patient with a smallish pupil, soft lens, and IFIS, and I noticed the IFIS when I was doing my recs, as I saw that the pupil was acting a little unusual. It was becoming distorted. I tried to get away with my hydrodissection, which didn't work. So I stopped. I injected some intracameral epinephrine, painting around the pupillary edge and iris, and then the remainder of the case went quite smoothly, doing my standard mechanical fracturing double chop and cross chop. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I thank you for your attention.